Welcome to the very first edition of the Vana video newsletter. I'm Brendan Tohill, the new General Manager at Vana, and we're here to bring you improved communication each and every month. We're going to hear from all the key stakeholders in the industry, TATS, News Corp, Fairfax, Blue Shift, all the key players that affect your income. We're also going to be talking about new revenue streams, and we're going to be meeting our members on a monthly basis, find out really what's working for them in their news agency, as well as some board members are going to come along and share their vast experience to you. Welcome to the first edition of the Vana video newsletter. Right, a big welcome to Prince Narula. He's the owner of Doveton News Agency, and Prince, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Brendan, to invite me.
Fantastic. Now, how long have you been a Vana member for?
3 years.
3 years. Fantastic. What's working in your store at the moment? What's really flying out the door that you can share with our members today?
Yeah, actually, we're importing some handbags from overseas, and some gift, and some from local suppliers, plush and gift items, which is working.
So with the handbags, you're importing those from India, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Manufacturer, because we know somebody there, so they just making it in their own factories. And
for our members, what do you retail those at, Prince?
We can start from 15 to 30. It's depend about the quality. And my idea was like, maybe they can work because nobody is selling that one. And it's
great.
If we sell bit low price, they, I think, can sell.
Talk to us about, on a day-to-day basis, at Doveton, what do you enjoy most about being a news agent?
Yeah, we enjoying obviously TATS because it's easy game. But my main focus is in the shop because if we can improve the shop.
Fantastic. I know you're always wanting to improve it, and that's great. And you do listen, which is fantastic.
Listen to some of the experienced people like you and Chris.
Great to have you aboard, and thanks so much for your time today, Prince.
Thank you.
Cheers. Welcome to Chris Pecora, the Vana Chairman. Chris, thanks for joining us today on the very first Vana video newsletter.
My pleasure to be here, Brendan.
Fantastic, Chris. Let's get straight into it. Okay, how do you see the current landscape for news agents in Victoria at the moment?
Very challenging for our industry. Our partners are suffering. Our distribution partners are the same way, and of course sales are down in retail sales. So yes, we've got challenges ahead. Okay.
Let's talk about TATS. Let's get straight to the source. You and I have had 4 or 5 meetings with TATS in the last sort of 6 weeks. What's your take on those negotiations?
TATS since the Pecora takeover have sort of changed their attitude a little bit towards engaging with associations. They brought us on board. We are a ACCC accredited in Victoria, and therefore they've spoken to us about the remuneration model and their total model. And so far the talks have been most encouraging, and I'm very pleased with the progress that we're making. We can't divulge too many details for obvious reasons, but it's looking satisfactory from our viewpoint.
It is, Chris, and Anthony Moore's joining us on the Vana video newsletter in the December edition, so that's great, and we'll certainly be drilling down there. Let's talk about the publishers, News Corp and Fairfax. How do you see the landscape there?
Well, News Corp and Fairfax have always had with our members a master-servant relationship, which hasn't really changed over many, many years. They've got massive challenges ahead with decreased publications and the distribution. In New South Wales, News Corp have got massive challenges where many news agents have just returned their rounds and have refused to engage with them. Therefore, they've got a model there to reduce the number of new, distribution agents to around 9. Will that happen? I'm not sure. And that's been brought by necessity. In Victoria, the model's not broken. It can do with some tinkering from their viewpoint. But I see some changes, but not major changes, but we'll be engaging with News Corp in Victoria in due course to discuss the issues.
And I guess that the positive news from those 2 key pillars is that they definitely won't be going to digital anytime soon. And I think that that's been the questions directly asked, whereas some members thought it was 6, 12, 18 months away. That's absolutely not the case. 5 to 7 years is the time frame of which we're working on, but it's print provide the most sales for both pillars, News Corp and Fairfax, and print is a part of the plan in the next 5 to 7 years. So that's really good news. Just quickly on the national body, Chris, you know, you're something you've been really passionate about. Give us an overview of the national body, the NNLA.
Well, you know, over a number of years since I've been a director of Vana, there's been a need to have a voice at a national basis, and the ANF, which is now ALNA, we haven't engaged with them for the last 5-6 years, and neither has NANA. So we've decided to form an association with 2 directors from each association at this stage. It'll run lean and mean, automatic membership for all our members at no cost impost.
Great.
We'll improve advocacy to national bodies, governments, state governments, and all sorts of departments that we can think of to put our points across.
Great overview, Chris. Thank you so much. And most of all, commiserations on the Pies just not getting the job done for you.
Yeah, disappointed, but I'm looking forward to Vana's success in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris. So there it is, the very first edition of the Vana video newsletter. We'd like to thank Chris Pecora for coming in, sharing his great knowledge and experience to our members today. We'd also like to thank Prince from Doveton, sharing a day-to-day activities of what's really working at his news agency there at Doveton. And our new players that have joined us in terms of next payments. And Grace and Yo will send out an expression of interest in terms of perhaps you acquiring an ATM flexi-teller machine at your news agency. And our new partner, Andrews Airport Parking. So if you're going interstate or overseas, we've certainly cracked a great deal for you to utilise that service. And again, Grayson will send out information on that. And I guess in regard to the racing season coming up the next 4 weeks, we've got Caulfield Guinea Saturday, Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate, Derby Day and Melbourne Cup. I went into 3 news agencies on the weekend to grab a best bets and they were all sold out. So let's increase the orders for the best bets, Sportsman and Winning Post. They'll be walking out the door as Winks tries to win a 4th Cox Plate coming up in a few weeks' time. Thank you for joining us today.